The Mikan era was in a 6-foot lane. Then when we went to the next era, it was in the 12-foot lane because Wilt changed it from a 6-foot lane to. That's why all of those rebounds by all of the guys in the 40s were so high, because shooting percentages are so low, and then the fact that there were so many rebounds and they were close to the basket. Then all of a sudden, boom, we got to make it out here now because of Kareem and what these guys are doing. We want to make the game easier, so we open it up to 16 feet. Well, with those guys, not only now did they have to extend their game in the post-ups and what you were running for them, but in order for them to get the rebounds, and they had to now, really work, and it's difficult at 16 feet, okay? I don't mean to sound too much X's and O's, but I have a great respect for all of those teams during those eras, just like all of those players, you see? And I said this the other day when I talked to the NBA people, and I said, look, LeBron James is the best player today. Stop getting in arguments that he's better than Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's better than LeBron James, so forth and that. And then the old guys will tell you Oscar Robertson better than both of them. It depends upon who you talk to. And then right away these people, they look at me and I said, wait a second, will you check Oscar's first 5 years in the league? I said, all he averaged added up. Yeah, they gave him a triple-double for 1 year because they would not round off the 9.6, 7, and 8. Just look it up into another 10. Oscar Robertson, when you add it all up, for 5 years averaged 30, 10, and 10 overall. So who's to say Oscar Robertson couldn't get 30 today? And I'll tell you why. And this is what I said to them. I put that hand on your hip, Jack, and you're a guard, and you're a small forward, and I put my hand and call that hand checking with these guys with hands this big, and they move you and they press you full court and they put that hand, and then as you start to go by them, start to go by me. Come on. We were able to use that forearm as soon as it's like football. All of a sudden now the defensive halfback can't get you past 5 yards. Why? Because they want more scoring. So today we've got a green light for these guards and small forwards to get to the rim now, and you have to play them perfectly without the hand contact or the forearm. When you talk Oscar Robertson and you talk Michael Jordan, you know what I said to guys? When you don't believe what it was like in the 70s, 80s, will you please watch the documentary on the Detroit bad guys? And nobody got thrown out of those games. And you saw guys flying into the stand. Mike, you were there. Come on. I mean, it was a joke. I mean, today you would, on one hit, you'd be suspended for a month here, okay? And that's why it's hysterical when these guys are bitching about going to the rim. They don't know what it was like to go to the rim in the 70s and 80s because you might not get up again. And then you had to take all of those hits like Jordan and the Gervins and all of the guys that were the big, and Magic and Bird and all these guys. Come on, it was if you were in the 70s and 80s as a coach or a player, the beauty of the game, the IQ of the game, the continuities and the sets that teams ran were just absolutely gorgeous to watch. And then the physical defensive part, you better be running good stuff, Jack, or you're not getting a good shot all night.
In basketball, certain voices don't need volume to command a room. They quiet it instantly, not because they are chasing attention, but because their credibility is unquestionable. Hubie Brown, Hall of Fame coach, iconic analyst, a man who has witnessed every era of the NBA unfold right in front of him, is one of those voices. At 90 years old, he's not chasing relevance, protecting nostalgia, or defending any personal agenda. He's beyond all of that. Which is why, when Hubie Brown speaks, the entire GOAT debate freezes. And recently, he delivered a verdict so clean and cutting that it sliced through decades of arguments in a single breath. LeBron James may be the best player in the league today, but stop trying to place him above Michael Jordan, because Michael Jordan is the superior player. No drama, no sugarcoating, just a definitive statement from someone who has seen the greats fight, sweat, and survive every era. Hubie isn't swayed by charts, Twitter debates, or highlight reels. His truth comes from the hardwood, from decades spent courtside watching legends earn everything the hard way. And when Hubie breaks down his reasoning, he paints a picture younger fans can't even comprehend. He pulls you back to the 60s, when the lane was barely 6 feet wide, until Wilt dominated it so brutally the league had to double it. He walks you through the 70s, when Kareem and the era of giants turned the 16-foot paint into a battlefield. Then he drops you into the 80s, a decade where hand-checking was legal, where defenders could guide you like a steering wheel with a palm on your hip for the entire possession, where forearms slammed into your chest like football hits and nobody blinked. That was basketball. Contrast it with today. No hand checks, no forearm shoves, no clothesline fouls, wide open lanes protected by whistles, flagrant reviews, and safety rules. Hubie chuckles whenever modern players complain that driving to the rim is hard. His answer is simple. If you think it's tough now, try attacking the basket in the 1980s. One hit could end your night or your career. That's the difference, and that's why his word carries weight no statistic ever will. LeBron James is incredible, dominant, the undisputed king of this generation, but he thrives in a league built for pace, space, and highlights, while Michael Jordan conquered the most violent, unforgiving era basketball has ever seen, and dominated it so thoroughly that the league itself had to evolve because of him. As Hubie puts it, if you really want to understand Jordan, don't check the stats, watch the Bad Boys Pistons documentary, watch him get hammered by Rodman, Laimbeer, Mahorn, smashed on every drive, hit after hit, possession after possession, and still rise up to drop 40 on them because he didn't run from the pain, he mastered it. That's why Hubie's verdict cuts so deep. Jordan isn't just another legend, he's the immovable standard, the final boss whose shadow still rules the sport. LeBron might be the king of this era, but Jordan is the man who forced the NBA to rewrite its identity. And when fans ask the tired cliché of who would dominate in another era, Hubie flips it, because the question isn't who could adapt, it's who forced the game to adapt to them. LeBron James is the ultimate adapter, a chameleon who's reinvented himself 100 times. Young LeBron bullying defenses with raw athleticism, MVP LeBron playing point forward with the body of Karl Malone, veteran LeBron mastering the fadeaway, the step back, and the cerebral craft that carried him deep into his late 30s. That's greatness. But Jordan wasn't just adapting, he was reshaping the sport at its core. Hand-checking vanished because perimeter players like him made it impossible to contain true brilliance forever. Illegal defense rules were rewritten because entire teams were inventing schemes just to survive his isolations. Even flagrant foul classifications were born from the brutality of the Jordan rules. The NBA had to literally redesign the rulebook to deal with him. Every stage of his career forced the league to redraw its boundaries because he didn't adjust to the system. The system adjusted to him, and his influence went far beyond basketball. Without Jordan, there's no global NBA empire, no billion-dollar sneaker revolution, no culture that stretched from Chicago to Shanghai. Jordan didn't just play the game, he turned it into a worldwide religion. LeBron flourished inside that empire, but Jordan is the one who built it. So when people ask whether Jordan would dominate in today's NBA, the question misses the point entirely. He already dominated an era engineered to break him. Imagine what Michael Jordan would do in an era built to protect scorers, where defenders are whistled for even brushing a superstar, rules that exist because of him. The sneaker culture that turned athletes into global icons. That also traces back to Jordan. LeBron adapted to the environment around him, but Jordan reshaped the environment itself, and transformation is the highest form of greatness. Then comes the business side of legacy. Who was the true CEO of basketball? On-court dominance matters, but immortality is built through influence. LeBron is a modern empire builder through Spring Hill Entertainment, Liverpool ownership, and Hollywood productions. King James is more than a nickname, it's a brand. But Jordan was the original model, the first to turn an athlete into a global enterprise. When Nike signed him in 1984, they predicted $3 million in sales over 4 years. They had no idea they were signing the man who would redefine sports business forever. Jordan obliterated Nike's 4-year projection in a single year, and the Air Jordan line didn't just succeed. It reinvented the entire world of sports marketing. Today it pulls in billions annually, and Jordan earns more from sneakers in retirement than most NBA players will make across their full careers. LeBron is expanding a kingdom, but Jordan built the blueprint. He invented the idea of an athlete as a global brand before social media, before hashtags, before digital hype. He turned his silhouette into a worldwide symbol, a logo that outlived generations. LeBron mastered the tools of his era, but Jordan created the tools themselves. And then comes the harshest metric of greatness, psychological impact. Respect is admirable, but fear is legendary. LeBron is respected. Players lose to him and tip their hat. Jordan, players didn't just respect him. They feared him. They call LeBron one of the greatest. But Jordan was something deeper. He was fear itself. Fear that no matter how hard you trained, how perfect your game plan was, he would still take everything from you. Clyde Drexler felt it in '92 when Jordan buried him under a storm of threes just to send a message. Charles Barkley admitted in '93 that it was the first time he realized someone on earth was simply better. Patrick Ewing spent entire seasons watching his championship dreams die at Jordan's hands. Reggie Miller pushed him to the edge only to have Jordan cold-bloodedly rip his hope away with shot after soul-crushing shot. LeBron's greatness elevates players around him. Jordan's greatness dismantled players around him. He didn't just defeat opponents. He erased their belief they could ever win. That's why Hall of Famers still talk about Jordan not as another rival, but as the man who stole their legacies. Stockton, Malone, Barkley, Ewing, all giants whose rings vanished because 23 stood in their path. Some legends rise, others get erased, and that disappearance, that fear, is the highest form of dominance, a level only Michael Jordan ever truly owned. LeBron is a marvel, a perfectly engineered machine built on efficiency, longevity, and production, a career shaped like an industrial blueprint of numbers and wins. But Jordan was not a machine, he was art. His greatness wasn't just measured, it was felt. The flu game wasn't a stat line, it was theater. The shot over Craig Eller wasn't a basket, it was mythology being written in real time. The hand switch layup in '91 wasn't athleticism, it was immortality caught on camera. LeBron collects statistics, Jordan creates stories that outlive eras. And when the final chapter comes, the difference becomes undeniable. Jordan didn't chase shortcuts or hop teams. He stayed, he suffered, he failed for 7 long years, carrying the full weight of expectation until he finally broke through.